Welcome! Today we're going to discuss how 4 toxic elements are contributing to increased chronic diseases and skyrocketing healthcare costs, and how to eliminate them to help reduce overall healthcare costs. So sit back and buckle in for one of the most informative rides of your life, as it will be crystal clear by the end of this presentation what it is that we need to do to accomplish this goal. As genetically modified organisms, pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides, along with aspartame and high fructose corn syrup, have devastated America's health. The next 2 minutes of information will be some of the most profound, mind-blowing, important information for your health and the health of your family, as Jeffrey Smith explains exactly what GMOs, pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides are all about.
GMO, genetically modified organisms. They take genes from one species and force it into the DNA of other species. And they can mix and match between species that have never normally mated. So they have spider genes that they put into goats in the hopes that they can milk the goat to get spiderweb protein to make bulletproof vests. I'm not making this up. They've taken cow genes and put them into pigs so that the pigs have cowhides. They've taken human genes and put it into corn to make spermicide. And for the food we eat, there's 2 main categories. The herbicide-tolerant crops, they can spray them with herbicide and not kill them, or the pesticide-producing crops that produce their own toxic insecticide that if a bug bites those plants, it breaks open the stomach and kills them. So they're completely swapping genes between the normal species barriers, creating new organisms that were not part of the evolutionary process. The active ingredient of Roundup is called glyphosate, and it was patented as an herbicide by Monsanto in 1974. But 10 years earlier, it was patented as a broad-spectrum chelator. Now, chelation is the molecular level of hugging and not letting go. The way that it kills weeds is it makes the nutrients unavailable to the plant, so it weakens the defenses of the plant. Then it promotes the diseases in the soil, which end up killing the plant. Now, this means that plants treated with Roundup have a reduction in available nutrients. They're weak and they're sick. The animals that eat the nutrient-deficient plants, they become nutrient-deficient and weak and sick. Then we eat the animals and the plants that are nutrient-deficient, and we may become weak and sick. In addition, the residues of the Roundup in the plant can end up in our bodies where they can chelate, hug some of the nutrients that are in our bodies, making them less available as well.
So how may this be affecting us? Does this look sadly familiar? Yet our FDA continues to insist that GMOs and pesticides are safe. As more Americans are suffering from more chronic conditions, irritable bowel syndrome is now the #1 chronic condition in America, over 3.5 times higher than heart disease. And does this look safe? These mice were given 7,000 times less glyphosate than that which is allowed in our water. And genetically engineered corn has been shown to have levels of glyphosate 130,000 times higher than our water standards. EPA, FDA still insists it's safe for humans, so safe that the allowable level has been increased in foods to 1,000,000 times higher than that which has been shown to begin liver damage and cancer. As Americans are gorging themselves on 193 pounds of genetically modified food every year, rats and squirrels will not eat the genetically modified corn when given a choice. And it is this genetically modified corn that the debilitating high fructose corn syrup is made from. And it is in most all of America's trusted brands of food, even those labeled all natural. Dannon, all natural, no artificial anything. Turn the container around and it reads high fructose corn syrup, modified cornstarch, and more corn. Corn, 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 corn. It's everywhere as our government subsidizes the corn industry to the tune of $10 billion a year. And what's wrong with this picture? Really? A hazmat suit and gloves are needed to touch the food that we eat? Does this look safe? I don't think so. This is the ever-plentiful subsidized corn that is dirt cheap and chemically processed into high fructose corn syrup as a sweetener that extends the shelf life of products. And when consumed by humans, it bypasses the pancreas, stresses the liver, and literally tricks our natural hormone leptin into making us think we're hungry. Food companies and advertisers figured this out long ago and have ever since been spending millions of dollars trying to convince us that it is good for us. Here is a 60-second news broadcast regarding high fructose corn syrup.
With Hannah Montana cereal on the market, kids may pester their mothers to buy it. But should moms give in and buy a product laden with corn syrup? What we know as table sugar used to be king. Then this tasty syrup flooded the market. Medical doctor Dana Flavin.
It tasted good. It was sweet. It was a good substitute, an inexpensive substitute for sugar, and we didn't have to rely on imports of sugar. We could just go ahead and use the corn syrup.
The government helped make corn syrup an even bigger hit with manufacturers and consumers. Corn subsidies helped make it cheaper. Plus tariffs and quotas doubled the price of table sugar. And high fructose corn syrup has a longer shelf life, a boon for manufacturers. Those advantages led to widespread use from sodas and other drinks to whole grain breads to even mini spaghetti sauces. Cardiologist Stephen Sinatra.
It's everywhere. It's in all our foods. And even myself, I struggle and read those labels all the time. And I'll tell you a story the other day when I ate something and there was high fructose corn syrup in it, and I got rid of it immediately.
Americans are eating 75 pounds of high fructose corn syrup every year. However, let's not be misled thinking artificial sweeteners are the answer either, as aspartame comes from genetically engineered microorganisms. Jim Turner, a world expert, tells the truth of this horrific substance in under 2 minutes.
My name is Jim Turner. I'm an attorney in Washington, D.C., and I've been working on stopping aspartame NutraSweet since 1970. This product is a dangerous product made up of 3 neurotoxins, any one of which could cause you health problems. Combined, it's really dangerous. The most interesting thing, however, is it's on the market because of politics. When we started attacking NutraSweet back in 1970, we were able to actually keep it off the market for 11 years until 1981. And we had a public board of inquiry convened by the FDA which ruled that it should not be marketed. The data showed it was likely to be a cancer-causing chemical. This was in 1980. 1 month after that board ruled, Ronald Reagan was elected president, and Donald Rumsfeld, the president of the company that made NutraSweet, that made aspartame, was on the transition team and arranged for a particular person to be made commissioner of the FDA, who overruled the public board of inquiry, overruled all scientists at the FDA who had looked at it, and overruled the public board of inquiry who were outside scientists. So we have here the combination of political toxicity and biological toxicity working together and creating serious problems. After that product went on the market, the number of glioblastomas, the cancerous tumor that showed up in the brains of mice in the studies we were relying on, increased by 10% in the United States in the human population. All in all, it's a horrendous story. Be sure to check everything out about it, and if you feel that you're having any kind of symptoms, get off it for a month and see if they go away.
Yet another toxic chemical that lower life forms will not eat, but humans choose to eat it. Roaches and ants avoid aspartame like it's toxic. Perhaps because it is. And humanity is currently so overloaded with toxins that the medical community has given us a new term, chemical body burden. Anyone who has been on this planet for the past 10 years has this condition. And sadly, our babies are now being born pre-polluted. A study in Canada revealed 93% of all pregnant women had the Bt toxin in their blood, and 80% of the fetuses had it in their blood also. Fetuses do not have a developed blood-brain barrier, so if it's in their blood, it's on their brain. This is the horrible potential for our children and our grandchildren. And how can this even be that we have toxic, health-debilitating GMOs in all their pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, and health-depleting foods made from these deadly combinations on the market today? Why isn't the FDA protecting us? Enter Michael Taylor. Michael is currently our Deputy Commissioner of Foods at the FDA. He has spent the past 35 years zigzagging back and forth between working for Monsanto and the FDA. In 1991, after working for a law firm representing Monsanto, in which he actually structured the framework for GMOs, he went back to the FDA to write the policy on GMOs, stating that they are safe, no need to be tested, despite constant warnings and petitions to the White House from FDA scientists themselves, concluding that genetically modified foods were inherently dangerous and might cause hard-to-detect allergies, poisons, new super diseases, and nutritional problems. And if Michael didn't do enough for us there, then he went on to be the administrator of the Food and Safety at the United States Dairy Association, where he helped get RBST approved, which is a genetically modified hormone that is injected into dairy cows to increase the amount of milk that they produce. Well, unfortunately, it also increases infection, which leads to pus in the milk, which leads to the need for more antibiotics, which unfortunately has led to pus and antibiotics in America's milk. Got milk? Thank you, Michael. There are at least 33 former Monsanto employees in government positions currently. Margaret Miller was the lab supervisor at Monsanto who compiled the report for FDA on growth hormones in milk. Then, just prior to submitting it, she actually took a position at the FDA in which her first assignment was to review the report that she had written. And Mr. Clarence Thomas, who has been a lawyer for Monsanto for 4 years, now resides as a Supreme Court justice, who, just coincidentally, rules in favor of Monsanto every single time. Our farmers sue Monsanto in the lower courts, and the farmers win every single time. Monsanto appeals, and the farmers win. The farmers win always until Monsanto gets it to the Supreme Court, where their buddy Clarence overturns the verdict and rules again in favor of Monsanto every single time. These guys are not playing around. We must take responsibility for our own health, as it is clear that the FDA is fueled by Monsanto money-grubbing parasites who do not care about humanity. They know the dangers of GMOs, as the cafeterias at both Monsanto and the White House serve organic foods. They have the power to eliminate this debilitating food industry that would reduce chronic diseases and in turn lower healthcare costs, yet this is not their intention. Their intention is to sell more chemicals. More genetically modified seeds means more spraying of chemicals. They are very deceptive, and they are absolutely brilliant at what they do, as they currently have most all of humanity acquiescing to their insanity. Let's do a quick review here a minute.
Let's review what we have so far. Genetic engineering transfers genes between species. The process itself creates mutations throughout the DNA, which can produce new allergens, toxins, and other nasties. The inserted genes and their proteins may trigger inflammation, which might promote numerous problems such as digestive disorders, allergies, diabetes, autoimmune disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, kidney disease, thyroid disease, and heart attacks. Genetically engineered Bt corn produces an insecticide, which may break holes in our intestinal walls. If so, experts link gut permeability to allergies, autism, and premature aging, as well as other disorders such as autoimmune disease, cancer, asthma, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and others. Most GM plants are engineered to survive doses of Roundup herbicide. Roundup steals nutrients, which can lead to nutrient-deficient plants, animals, and humans. Roundup can also cause birth defects and other reproductive disorders. Lab animals that ate Roundup-ready crops lost a large number of offspring. Roundup is also linked to infertility, which may be from disrupted hormones, nutrient deficiency, or a brand new organism. FDA scientists had warned that GMOs were dangerous, but their boss was a Monsanto man. Monsanto sells Roundup and most GM seeds. The FDA doesn't require any studies and doesn't monitor any health issues linked to GMOs.
The chronic conditions listed in the review are the exact chronic conditions that have skyrocketed in the past decade. Chronic diseases are the leading cause of disability in the United States, according to the CDC, as chronic diseases and chronic conditions are debilitating the workforce and causing uncontrollable healthcare costs. Healthcare for people with chronic diseases averages $6,000 per year. This is 5 times higher than those with no chronic diseases. Obviously, Americans suffering from chronic diseases are the most frequent users of healthcare in the United States. And sadly, most Americans underestimate their ability to prevent chronic diseases and their costly complications simply due to the lack of awareness. And it is this lack of awareness that has led to skyrocketing healthcare costs, to the point that many businesses are no longer able to provide adequate health coverage for their employees, as an increasing number of employees are unable to afford rising deductibles to maintain the level of coverage for their families that they have had in the past. Is this becoming clear yet? We have a rise in the number of former Monsanto employees in the FDA, fueling a rise in genetically engineered foods and pesticide applications, which continues to raise the number of chronic diseases, which continues to increase healthcare costs. Pretty clear, huh? I'm thinking crystal clear. So what can we do? That's why I'm here today. I am sick and tired of watching uninformed Americans suffer needlessly due to toxic foods and the related chronic debilitating diseases that are raising our healthcare costs when the solution is so obvious when we have the facts. And I would surely hope anyway, after becoming aware of all the insanity that I presented here today about our food supply, you would be sick and tired of being sick and tired and want to do something about it also. American workers must be taught of the imminent health dangers regarding our food now. They must learn what healthy food is, where to get it, and how to integrate it into a busy lifestyle for lasting change and for a reduction in healthcare costs. Preventing and managing, along with the potential for eliminating chronic conditions in the workforce, means increased worker productivity and substantially lower healthcare costs, as 75% of all healthcare costs are spent on preventable chronic conditions. By simply educating employees on how to take responsibility for their own health through new informed food choices, along with similar easy changes to breathing and exercising habits, we can quickly and dramatically improve overall health and wellness in the most profound way, and begin lowering healthcare costs for everyone. I welcome the opportunity to present the full health and wellness program for you and your employees. I will provide life-changing information along with resources that will improve the quality of health and wellness for you and your employees for a lifetime, while reducing healthcare costs. For those who are interested in individualized attention, I also offer private sessions. You may contact me for your complimentary consultation. In the meantime, I would like to leave you with a few easy eating tips to stimulate your health. It is imperative that we rebuild our friendly gut bacteria, as GMO foods are destroying our digestive tract. Get your family on a good probiotic. Avoid the most genetically engineered food crops and read the list of ingredients for all the forms that they come in. Labeling is extremely deceptive. We must read the list of ingredients. Start decreasing to totally eliminate high fructose corn syrup, sugar, and aspartame, including bottled sodas, teas, energy drinks. Increase your water intake. A healthy body requires half its body weight in ounces every day. Check the barcodes of your produce. If you're purchasing or conventionally grown produce, it's extremely important to remove as much pesticide as possible. There's many easy solutions around our home that we can use. Lemon juice, baking soda, and water is a very good option. Begin eliminating all totally processed foods, foods that look nothing like their original form: potato chips, Doritos, Sun Chips, Cheese Whiz. Yes, I know, some of us are addicted to these. There are actually chemicals in these foods that trick our neurological system. Reduce lightly processed foods. These are foods that have lost their nutrients due to processing for reasons such as longer shelf life, ease of preparation, etc. Begin cooking more whole foods, foods in their original form. Increase raw whole foods. This is the portion of the program that I emphasize raising employees' awarenesses of the different types of foods and explaining what whole foods are, and again, where to get them and how to easily integrate them into their busy lifestyles. Best tip ever? Buy certified organic and non-GMO project verified as much as possible. Then there's no need to be concerned about which fruit or vegetable has more or less pesticide and which packaged foods have hidden GMO ingredients. Yes, organic food is a little bit more expensive. However, last I heard, cancer was pretty expensive also. Please take advantage of these eating tips for you and your family. I guarantee that you will notice a huge improvement in your health and the health of your family over the next 2 weeks. This is Saundra Bridge from Bridge to Self-Healing, 480-797-9947. Thank you and have a nice day.